Here we are talking about Trail Condition Class as a rapid assessment tool for park rangers and in particular trail crews and trail bosses to map out and assess an inventory, not just what trails visitors have created, but also the formal trails that we designed and installed and are maintaining. Condition Class gives us a sense of how are things sort of proliferating or metastasizing beyond what we've planned and installed for our visitors? What are the visitors and maybe even the wildlife adding to that system in a way that may or may not be as sustainable or safe as a carefully designed and sustainably implemented trail system? So let's talk about Condition Class. It's a very simple qualitative, meaning there's not any math associated with it, so it's a rapid assessment. It's a qualitative inventory of what's the severity of trail impacts and where are they. So this is an exercise we typically do with a GPS, and as we map and record where the trail is by walking along with the GPS, we're recording for that GPS trail segment, or that polyline recorded feature, what's the numeric classification, no math, but numeric classification from 0 to 5 of the condition of the trail. So a Condition Class 1 trail is a trail that is starting to emerge through vegetation and is just barely visible, but at Condition Class 1, it is continuous, it is definitely a real trail. It's just not walked in to the point that it's got gully erosion and stuff like that. That would be at the other end of the scale, Condition Class 5. So right next to us here, we have an example of Condition Class 1. We're here in Thompson Woods, and you can see the paved concrete path, which is not assessed in condition classing. But here where we have an informal or visitor created trail that links the paved trail to another sidewalk outside of Thompson Woods, we have a variety of trail conditions. So right here where people come off of the bridge and then turn into the woods to shortcut through Thompson Woods, we've created a path here. This section right here is Condition Class 1. It's not bare soil, it's not trampled, not eroded, but we do have a clear, visible transition of vegetation height reduction from these grasses, graminoids, other sedges, whatever those might be, maybe ferns, forest forbs, tall, where people are not walking, down to this other species, Plantago, which is trample resistant, it just lays flat, and you can see that there's a clear visible difference between what is not being walked on and what is. That's Condition Class 1. Condition Class 2 is where we have the vegetation now starting to transition under trampling pressure from continuous vegetative cover, even though it's different in its height and composition species-wise from what's not being trampled. At Condition Class 2, we have the vegetation starting to collapse and die off under that trampling pressure. So just up ahead here, where we have patches of bare soil, not a lot of erosion, but patches of soil where the vegetation can no longer hang on under that trampling pressure. That's Condition Class 2. At Condition Class 3, the living vegetative cover in the summer and the coarse, woody, dead debris, so dead leaves, we've got some dead sticks, probably some dead insects through here, that's starting to get trampled and pulverized or turned into dust underfoot as well. So Condition Class 3 is continuously exposed mineral soil that's had the O and maybe the A horizons truncated or removed. Condition Class 3 means we have exposed, compacted mineral soil, but we don't have a lot of visible active erosion yet. It's happening, absolutely. When we remove the armor of vegetation and organic humic cover, this stuff, the soil can't handle any impacts on its own, so it's going to start eroding, typically sheet eroding. Condition Class 4 is worse than this. This is where a little bit further down the slope and we start to have spots, not continuous, but spots of gully erosion is Condition Class 4. So this is where the trail is wandering up and down slopes and so forth, and it's bad in spots. There are exposed rocks and roots as the soil around those rocks and roots is starting to gully erode away. Again, that's condition class 4. Condition class 5 is continuous, active, and typically accelerating erosion. So this tends to be those real steep spots that visitors have created trails into, walking straight down a slope to get quickly to some shortcut or perceived shortcut or some actively interesting gravity feature like a waterfall or maybe a campsite or a spot to go bouldering or rock climbing, something like that, that folks are wanting to get to quickly, and they're willing to go straight up or down a very steep slope to get there. That's typically where we find our 5th and worst and most dangerous for our visitors, condition class 5. So again, condition class measurement is a rapid assessment moving protocol with a recording GPS of what shape is the forest floor in as a function of how people are walking on it. Formally, sustainably designed trails start at condition class 3, and we work to keep them at condition class 3. Wherever we see erosion, we fix that. We move the trail or amend the soil or make the surface of the soil harder by adding gravel or paving it over with asphalt if we need to, whatever the case may be appropriate to that particular space. But visitor-created social trails tend to start at condition class 0 or 1, right, where it's mostly just being walked over vegetation, all the way to condition class 5. So this is why we need to keep on top of this and monitor this kind of thing, if not every year, every 2 to 3 years at the least. So condition classing, there you go.